Guys, you cannot miss this video if you've collected PUA benefits. I have some vital information here that will help you avoid paying back all that PUA money that you receive. So please stick around. Learn more about how we're not being told the whole truth about when it comes to the unemployment rate. I'm going to shed a lot of light on that. How a number of people are considered, quote, functionally unemployed, end quote. It may be you and you just don't even know it. And what that means, and how one state is introducing an all-new unemployment grant. Yep, an unemployment grant. Brand new stuff. Hey everybody, it's Andrew Cartwright. I hope you're having a satisfying Saturday. We're covering a lot of stuff here on unemployment, so stay tuned to the end of the video. For Sunday, November 7, 2021, my goal is to give you the best access to government and private money for yourself, your loved ones, and your business. If you like the content that you watch, please consider liking the video, joining the channel by subscribing, and throw a piece of your mind in the comments. Let me know what's going on. Also, we're giving away $2,000 when we hit 200,000 subscribers. We're going to pick a random comment from our subscriber base. So if you wouldn't mind, like the video if you like it. Also, I put a new game together down below and you could win cool prizes. It's absolutely free. So make sure you check that out. Stay tuned to this channel though for personal finance, all things finance, real estate, stock market, crypto, and other investments to generate you income and save you money. This is a finance channel, folks. That's what it's for. That's what I'm passionate about. So also check out my real estate program. I've done over $100 million in real estate. It's only $99. It is so cheap. It's $10,000 anywhere else. Make sure you check out the program. The first 2 videos are complimentary. You can check them out if you like it. And you want to grab the program to have for the rest of your life. 36 videos, when to buy, how to buy, market cycles, the whole bit. Again, it's a little bit to help out with the channel. Thanks to my Patreons who support the channel for as low as $3. But first, if you've claimed on your PUA application, quote, self-employed income, end quote, and quote, plans to start self-employment or plans to start regular employment, this information applies to you. And this is federal. This was a federal mandate, so it could affect states all over the country. But this is specifically what we found coming out November 10th in California. So starting November 10th, the California EDD will begin sending out notices. We got ahead of this by seeing a notice ahead of time, either by mail, text, or through the UI online portal where you go to log in and you can see your information and messages to folks who need to provide proof of work history. So who's going to get these notices? You might ask yourself, will I get one? Well, if you're a PUA claimant whose claim started in 2020 and you collected benefits after December 27, 2020, or if you're a PUA claimant whose claim started in 2021, then you should expect a notice. So anybody claimed after December 27th, or if you claimed in 2021. On top of that, if you filed a claim before January 31st, 2021, you have 90 days to provide proof of work history. If you filed a claim after that, well, you have 21 days. So a little different scenario there. Failure to respond to these notices with proper information means that you're retroactively not eligible, which means you have no choice but to pay back your PUA. And since the unemployment office has been a glorified sort of collection agency for employers, they're no stranger to going and getting money. So you don't want to be on the other side. You want to make sure you comply with what they ask for, because usually that's all you have to do. So how exactly do you do this? And what are they asking for? Because this may affect you wherever you are in the country, because this is federal, but this is especially for California. You need to prove that you were self-employed, which means providing one of the following documents. And they're pretty simple. One is a business license, a tax return, receipts, bank statements, invoices, contracts, or a signed affidavit that shows you were self-employed. It's not the end of the world, but you have to comply to these things. You have to give them some sort of proof. The way I look at it, a lot of those things are things that would be easily provable. So don't give up. Now, if you were one of those who planned to be self-employed but didn't receive any income, here's what you need to do. Business license, federal employee identification number, otherwise known as the E, the I, and the N, the IN number. Written business plan, so if you don't have one, you can get one of those online. A business plan, what you plan to do, or if you have a signed lease agreement, would count too. That shows that you were going to do it. For those who plan to start regular employment, all you'll need is an employment offer letter with the employer's name and contact information. Just be sure any tax information is from the correct year. If you filed the PUA unemployment in 2020, the tax information should be from 2019. You're like, huh? Yeah, well, you haven't filed 2020 yet because it's happening. Or if you filed the claim in 2021, well, you need to provide 2020 tax information the year before because you're in 2021. So that's all you got to do. That should be easy enough, so please do so. I'd hate for you to have to pay back the PUA. This is so important that you get on this. You don't miss the notice because I don't want you to be stuck with them clawing back the money and you have to pay back these benefits because you forgot and you missed some notice and you have to pay those PUA unemployment benefits back. So please do so. It's super important that you do that. Meanwhile, there's something you should know about the unemployment benefit and the PUA notices. The numbers are wrong. They're absolutely wrong. I know we cover them every week, so make sure. Oh, also want to note that the information in regards to the PUA in California is down in the description. If you want to see more details about that, it is down below. Make sure you comply and answer their questions. That way you don't get caught up in that mess. In regards to the numbers being wrong, the thing is called the U3 statistics. It's basically, that's how we cover the unemployment. It's where we usually pull our unemployment numbers from. Currently, that number sits at 4.6. I know we celebrate that and call it the best news ever. We talked about it before on the channel. We talk about it every week. And those numbers don't seem to add up with the number of jobs that are available and the people that are sitting at home, even watching these videos. The new numbers we just got are mind-blowing. Turns out that 1.5 million people are currently not part of the labor force. Certainly doesn't seem like 4.6% unemployment. That's the funny little quote, not in the labor force, end quote, we talked about before. It turns out that another set of statistics called the U6, which paints a far more accurate depiction of the real numbers. If we use older means of measuring statistics, like the methods we used in the 80s, I know that's a long time ago, some people are going 80s, when was that? And the 90s, we come up with the same number, not 4.6%, not even close. You also have to take into account those who are on disability, SNAP, the CTC, or whatever. They may not have included on this list of unemployed. The fact is, when you take a second to think about the 4.6%, well, it really doesn't add up, does it? Especially when you take into account that the U3 seems to stop counting people as employed after just a few weeks, despite still calling them employed. So that means when people stop filing their unemployment after a couple of weeks, they fall off those numbers. So let's say somebody reaches like even the end of the 26 weeks. Well, by the 29th week, they're no longer counted as far as the unemployed, right? How many people are not collecting? How many people in the comments, please tell me, how many of you are not collecting unemployment but are unemployed? Because you're part of those. Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Up next, while we're on the topic of just utterly confused by the weird unemployment numbers, we have California workers being labeled as functionally unemployed. What does that mean? As it stands right now, California has roughly 1.4 million unemployed residents. That's what we've been led to believe, at least. They've told us that. A new study from the Lute Institute of Shared Economic Prosperity looked at people who can't find jobs paying above poverty levels. It's saying that the number of, quote, functionally unemployed is 3 times higher at 4.8 million. This means that 25.7% of California workers are, quote, functionally unemployed because they aren't able to find full-time employment paying above the poverty line compared to the state's 7.5% unemployment rate. Imagine, think about this for a minute. If you are working 2 days a week, there's no way you're getting full-time pay, right? But now you're considered employed. Does that make sense? And then if you can't pay your bills because you've taken a lesser job, are you really employed? Well, no, you're functionally unemployed, realistically, even though you've got a job. List Chairman Gene Ludwig said, quote, policy leaders by these headlines and statistics have been deluded into thinking things are better off than they are, end quote. They continue by saying, quote, you were counted as employed even if you were desperate to have a full-time job, end quote. I cover this because I want to be true to you guys always. And as I dig deeper and deeper into these numbers, when we celebrate the recovery of what's happening in America, the economic recovery, and you don't see it in your neck of the woods, you don't feel it, well, this is the truth. Now that more closely matched with people are saying in our comments, in our channel, and really, real number isn't as easy to track as you think. The numbers are considered as on the low end of the truth. Very low end, it turns out. These researchers have been using an income of $20,000 as the poverty line. That's way below poverty, wouldn't you say? While staggering higher rents in the Bay Area means people are struggling big time with, I know some places, some people I know there are $5,000 or $4,000 a month for the rent. They're splitting up all the rooms and renting just a room. $20,000 doesn't get you far in the Bay Area. Some families in the Bay Area need to make over $100,000 in order to survive. I know, because I grew up there. I've been here for 21 years, but the rest of my time was in the Bay Area. It is expensive to live there. Also, New York, New Jersey, very expensive. These statistics show measures on how people are employed, that they're not meeting the standard of being able to live or survive. Someone who is a job but is living below the poverty line because of low hours or low pay should not be included in the statistics that we're telling, and we need to be transparent, honest. It'd be nice if we got numbers that reflected the reality. Some of these people work 1 day a week, as I said, some 2, and they're desperate for work, and they're desperate for benefits, and they're not getting it. Just read the comments. Ludwig said, quote, "We're headed down a path that if we don't deal with this problem, we will see serious social unrest," end quote. I don't know about you, but, quote, serious social unrest, end quote, is a pretty good reason to revisit unemployment. I do these videos not only for you, but because by you liking them, sharing them, and commenting, it pushes it out to the leadership who actually watch these type of videos, believe it or not, for research or their interns, and it gets passed up. We live in a pretty transparent world now. Either way, people need money. Into the story. And finally, the great state of Virginia, we're going to talk about the grant program, got approved for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, that's FEMA, grant to help people who became unemployed during the pandemic. The grant is part of a Lost Wage Assistance Program. We've covered it before. It's back. Lost Wages Assistance Program, LWA, and no, that's not a rap group, allowing the state to give $300 a week to unemployed folks. It's great because it's on top of the Virginia state unemployment compensation, a lot like our boost with the PEUC or the PUA extra benefit. It's awesome. FEMA and the Governor Ralph Northam are working on a solid system to get people their money as soon as possible. I hope that other states will get this same boost as they have in Virginia. In addition to that, President Biden gave Virginia the approval of a major disaster declaration for the state after August 30th storm, which involved horrible flash floods and landslides. Governor Northam said, quote, "I'm grateful to President Biden for the approving my request and providing much needed federal assistance. Federal support will help Buckingham residents recover from the devastating storm and reduce the future flood risk to local organizations, homes, and businesses. As governor, I will continue to do everything I can to support the Hurley community," end quote. I'm not the governor there. I'm just quoting what he said. It sounded like I was the governor for a second. According to a recent press release, the approved funds, quote, "may apply to FEMA for reimbursement of 75% of eligible costs. The FEMA Public Assistance Program could take years to be fully reimbursed for federal-related expenditures. The Virginia Department of Emergency Management is the administration agency for the grant program." So they're the ones you want to reach out to, folks, and hopefully you don't have to reach out. They'll just take care of you. My heart goes out to the people of Virginia. Thankfully, help is here in the form of unemployment grants and disaster relief. Also, grants are available to the others who seek them out. I've left a link in the description where you can check them out, along with other assistance programs. So please check them out, and let's get back on track. Remember, in California, if you are part of the EDD over there, make sure if you're after December 27th, and you get that letter on the 10th, that you follow the guidelines and make sure that you provide them the necessary documentation that they'll need, like tax returns and other information, to validate what you claimed in that, so you don't have to pay back that unemployment. They don't claw it back from you. They are typically a huge collection agency. If you still haven't applied for the unemployment assistance, get ahead. Well, it's the end of the weekend, but make sure you fill out and apply for that. You can get 26, 27 weeks automatically. Your basic state benefits been around since the 30s. So when Roosevelt sent it, put it into law. So make sure you check that out. It's not out of funds like a lot of people had just gave up when people said that the federal unemployment was done. They just stopped filing, and apparently they're no longer counted in the unemployment rate that I've covered. So make sure you fill out that application, reapply, get counted in those numbers so Washington can see. I almost would rather you to file those employment numbers if you're unemployed, so that they know in Washington what the real rate is and they don't delude themselves. For being honest and truthful and filling out that application, if you've got back weeks that you haven't collected on, you can get paid for those back weeks. The PUA, as we talked about, still closed, but we're hopeful that AOC, who surprisingly voted against the new infrastructure bill, which was crazy, and Cori Bush and others, that squad, said that they were going to reenact this program. Well, we still haven't heard from them, so they're not helping gig workers, self-employed, independent contractors, 1099, side hustle, or volunteers or freelancers at the moment. But this video could change that with your love and support, your subscribing, liking, and sharing. Maybe it'll get to their ears, from God's ears to theirs, maybe. That's your unemployment benefit for today, Sunday, November 7th, 2021. I'm Andrew Cartwright. I love you guys. I hope you're doing fantastic. Please share a piece of your mind in the comments down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.